The truck was still running. Driver's door wide open. Coffee still warm. But Armin Qureshi had vanished into the woods without a word. No phone, no note. Just a small wooden box in his hands. 3 days later, a forest officer found that box. Inside it, a photo, a letter, and a secret buried beneath decades of silence. Armin didn't disappear. He delivered something no trailer could ever carry. The engine hummed like a restless heart, its headlights slicing through the thick morning fog outside Chitral. A wisp of steam curled from the untouched coffee cup resting in the holder. The door swung gently in the wind. No signs of struggle, just one set of boot prints leading away from the road into the forest. 3 hours passed before a passing police patrol spotted the idling truck. Officer Cameron stepped out, wiped frost off the side mirror, and peered inside. Empty. The keys were still in the ignition. The logbook untouched. Coffee still warm. But no Armin. He was a familiar sight across the northern routes. Clean truck, quiet demeanor, always on schedule. But off the highway, he was a mystery. No family. No photos on the dash. Just a man, a machine, and the open road. That morning, Armin had taken a strange detour off Highway 12, a path that led toward the Cohiston Forest Reserve. No deliveries were scheduled there. No stops, just thick woods, silent air, and stories the land didn't tell easily. What no one knew. Not the dispatcher who radioed twice, not the tea vendor who served him his final chai, was that this wasn't a mistake. It was a return, that a figure moved slowly through the mist, heavy coat brushing the wet branches, broad shoulders hunched from years behind the wheel. In his hands, that small wooden box. He wasn't lost. He had walked this path before. Not recently, but as a boy. 20 years of silence will warp any man. Armin didn't speak much. Not to mechanics, not to cafe owners, not even to himself. But silence has weight. His carried the weight of a name. Hassan, his younger brother. His shadow. His best friend. Back when life was simple, before war and wages and roads, Armin and Hassan would camp in this very forest with their father. The same clearing where Hassan caught his first fish, where Armin taught him to build a fire. Where boys became brothers and brothers became men. Time passed. Hassan joined the army. Armin chose the road. 20 years ago, they had one final trip together. Hassan had just finished his initial training. The pride in his eyes was impossible to miss. Armin picked him up from the base. For once, the cab was full of laughter again. They stopped for gas near a small town outside the forest. Just a few kilometers from their old campsite. Go stretch your legs, Armin had told him. Check out the old spot. I'll catch up. Hassan grinned, slung his bag over one shoulder, and vanished into memory. A freak storm slammed the valley that day. By the time Armin pulled into the forest clearing, it was too late. Hassan's car had been crushed by a fallen pine tree. A tree thicker than a truck, dropped by wind that sounded more like grief. No movement, no sound, just shattered glass and the silence of something broken forever. Hassan died instantly. His military ID still clipped to his chest. Boots still laced. A duffel bag sitting perfectly upright. Armin never screamed. He just stood, frozen, while sirens wailed and responders did their work. They offered sympathy, but they didn't understand. They didn't grow up in this forest, didn't whisper dreams under these same trees. They didn't know the words that would haunt Armin forever. Go ahead. I'll catch up. He never camped again, never stopped near the forest. Until now. Now, with the wooden box in hand, he came not to relive the memory, but to bury it. Under the tallest pine, he knelt, pressed both hands to the cold dirt, then gently placed the box against the roots. No prayers, no words, just whined through the leaves and a goodbye too late. Forest Officer Ayaz found the box the next day during a patrol. Soft-spoken man, sharp eyes, the kind who notices what others miss. He had heard of the truck found on the highway. Something made him follow the path into the woods, that he saw the disturbed earth first. Then the box that IT was old, polished, hinges still solid. Inside were 3 things. A black and white photo of 2 boys laughing in front of a tent. A folded certificate bearing Hassan's name, dated 20 years ago. A handwritten letter. Ayaz sat down beneath the tree and read it. The first line stopped him. He was a soldier for only 9 days, but long enough to leave me haunted for 30 years. The letter unfolded like a wound. Armin wrote of guilt, of time, of the 10 minutes he had stopped for gas, and how those 10 minutes changed everything. Of how he drove through every province trying to find peace, but it only waited for him here. Director, this box isn't for me. It's for the ones still carrying their own storm. Please deliver the envelope left in my truck. 3 days later, an envelope arrived at a military hospital in Rawalpindi. Inside, another letter and a certified donation large enough to build an entire counseling wing for PTSD patients. The letter was simple. I cannot bring him home, but maybe this can help someone else make it. No press, no name given, just results. Enough money to fund therapy, trauma programs, and family support systems. Weeks later, a bronze plaque was quietly installed outside the new wing in memory of Hassan Qureshi, a soldier who never made it home, and a brother who never forgot. When Officer Ayaz returned to the pine tree, the box was gone. In its place, a neatly folded flag resting on a stone, and a tiny slip of paper weighed down by a pine cone. Some trucks carry freight. Others carry guilt. I did not disappear. I delivered something no trailer could hold. Peace. That was the last anyone officially saw of Armin Qureshi. Some say he boarded a volunteer shuttle near a small village mosque. No lagi. No name. Just a nod and a thank you. Others say he stayed close to the hospital he helped fund, quietly supporting younger veterans under a new name. But the truth doesn't need to be tracked, because the most important part had already been left behind. Forgiveness. Not from others. From himself. For a choice that no one could have predicted. For a storm no man could have stopped. For a promise made between brothers that took 20 years and one pine tree to fulfill. He carried his brother across every road in Pakistan. Not in a photo, not in a casket, but in memory. And finally, on a foggy morning in Kohistan, he let him go. No applause, no eulogi, just peace, and the sound of wind through the trees.